sure you've seen these stories of brands that have blown up overnight. You'll find these stories on Shark Tank and you'll find them on news everywhere. But then when it comes to your own brand, you can't even get noticed. What's happening? So in this video, I'm going to give you some practical advice on how you can go about building a consumer brand in the Indian market. We've got a few top marketing leaders who've run brands like Titan, Pepsi, Nokia, Apple, Horlicks, WeWork. And together, these guys are sharing clear, practical, usable lessons on validating your product, branding your brand, and growing on e-commerce. This is stuff you can apply today in 2025. We start with Megha Agarwal. She's run marketing for brands like WeWork, Horlicks, and Boost. She's sharing a simple and low-cost framework for launching your brand, validating a product in today's market, and finding the right channels that she would use if she were to start a brand.
Let's take a food brand, right? And I think for somebody who's already doing a 9 to 5 piece, and if they're sort of testing, experimenting, they are in a space where they're still validating an idea. I'm assuming they don't have a concrete solution, so they're playing and figuring out what needs to be done. So that limited money and resources that they have should first go into validation. And over the weekends, what I would do is an old school Unilever days consumer home visits. Get 20-30 people through network, your potential target audience. You should be very clearly able to at least define at this stage who's your bullseye TG. Connect with them over chai, coffee, pitch your idea, see how many lap it up. Take early feedback to understand whether the idea has legs. So if I have only weekends and limited budgets, 4,000-5,000, I'll be able to meet about 20-30 consumers over a cup of coffee decently and have a conversation.
So spend it on hosting these folks.
Yeah, I think I would do that. The second option is where you have validated the idea and you want to see whether the product will get bought. WhatsApp catalogs these days are a great tool to quickly check on a limited database. If on a 20-30 database you have a 10-15% conversion, you know there is legs. Because it's
But
very,
go cold.
very early. Sorry, cold.
It could be cold.
It has to be cold. Because I think what
Unaffiliated
happens...
sales.
Yes. Because if you're doing it with your tried and tested folks, there is love. You want to avoid that. You genuinely want to know whether people are buying your idea or your product because they like it.
Does the product
not because they
have...
like you. Yeah. So I think that has to be very, very clearly established. You don't want to be caught up in a founder's ego right up front because you are selling so easily. It's never that easy. I think you should go in saying it's never that easy. So the more difficult you make it for yourself, it is better because you're getting real feedback. Strangers give you best feedback.
Okay.
So if you can really figure out a pain, don't start from product, solve a real pain point. And you came to Atta. I'll tell you a very interesting story. This is when I was in Bombay and a bunch of young kids started this nutrition Atta brand. I saw this message on WhatsApp. They were doing this chakki Atta at home and all superfoods. You wanted makki atta, you wanted barley atta, you wanted anything. It was easily available at home. Could they scale it? I don't know, but I did order. Right? So I'm sure that they piloted this over a weekend. They found a little community. We were a residential gated community, 5,000 odd flats in this space. They reached out, they got sales. Now it's up to them how to scale up. But the product caught on with a lot of people. I knew a lot of people in the community who picked up that atta and on repeat. So it was not a one-time thing. That's the other thing in my head. Your one-time success should not drive you. You need those people who come back and pick you again. Talk to them and understand why they bought you again. Because that's where you know that your business can scale.
All right. So next up, we have Poonam Kaul with her experience running marketing for brands like Pepsi, Nokia, and Apple in India. She's talking about why ads alone cannot build a business and how brand building and brand marketing both makes your sales easier over time. She also talks about how should you go about thinking how to build a brand.
Let's take snacks.
Okay.
A space that I'm familiar with.
Kurkure. You've done Kurkure.
Kurkure, Lay's.
Yes.
Uncle Chips.
Perfect.
Right? All three. If you're just an Instagram, no way today. If we were to get out there and just do Instagram, absolutely not. I mean, Instagram for me is a great place to show your product. It's a great place for you to get some clicks going. But if you need to build a business, a sustainable business around it, you need to think about it like whatever level you're in. You need to think about it like, okay, this is the business I'm running and this is the brand I'm establishing. And when I say that, Performance marketing, I am a big believer of performance marketing will just give you that the rise, the initial rise. Okay, but it's like a tap. The moment you close the tap, it's over. Okay, you will stop getting anything. Gradually, the tap pani sukh
Is that a problem?
khatam. That is, of course, a problem.
Because if I'm investing, I'm getting returns. Why should I stop investing? And why do we?
And why? And then I'm not able to scale. I'm not able to do anything. I can only do as much as the money I'm spending. Wahi jata rahega. If you're looking at creating a sustainable, profitable business, then you need to think holistically. And when I say holistically, it is about doing all the things. Like performance marketing is your sales team, digital sales team. And they will, after a point, need that air cover. You can only take your brand to a particular limit. So first, I think first and foremost, get your product right. Build the whys around the product very well. Why should you exist? Why should any consumer pick it up? And that why can be answered partly through performance and partly through the sustained long-term brand that you are starting to build. And that's the beauty. The beauty of building a brand is that when you start doing that, when you start investing in building the larger brand, that's where after a point when your performance, you won't actually need it that much. And today, why would I want to spend money so much on, on a Google or a Meta? Why don't you create your own channel as the platform? I think that works much better because you're building, it is an investment again. It is an investment in building your own channel, but it's that place, you're owning that place. And you're able to understand where is the consumer coming, what are they looking for. I'm able to do that much more on building my own content channel. And we're doing that for a couple of brands that I'm working with. We haven't stopped. It's not like we stopped doing, Google and Meta or performance. You use them for a purpose. But most founders think कि पैसा लगा दो, हो गया शुरू. Okay. And brand for them is कि अभी हम छोटे हैं या हम आगे सोचेंगे ब्रांड के बारे में या ब्रांड इज दिस एसोटेरिक थिंग दैट यू बिल्ड ओवर द इयर्स और व्हेन आई गेट माय नेक्स्ट राउंड ऑफ फंडिंग आई विल बिल्ड अ ब्रांड नो डूड व्हेन यू आर डूइंग परफॉर्मेंस मार्केटिंग यू आर स्टार्टिंग टू डू दैट यू आर ऑलरेडी डूइंग दैट and which is why again I keep on telling them that even the way you're showing up on Instagram, you are building your
reputation, brand
thing, that aura, that thing you're building. When you tell them, where is the story? Where's your narrative? How is that building? वो तो हम बाद में करेंगे.
Why does that matter?
When you don't have a story to tell, that brand for me is a story, right? Starbucks that I told you, it's a story, right?
Paperboat is a story.
Everybody, Paperboat is nostalgia for me. So there is a bunch that knows everything, and brand हम बाद में करेंगे. There's a bunch that is like not required, जो है बस इतना ही है करेंगे. और what people don't understand, and this is where you have to literally go to basics 101, that everything that you do, for me brand, to answer that larger question, for me brand is every single interface with the outside world. Whether it's starting from your sales team, how they're talking to people is brand. They are representing the physical brand. You could be selling whatever. You could be selling Pepsi, or you could be selling the way the salespeople are talking. It's the approach, the attitude that reflects the brand. It starts from there. Brand. But I can tell you this much, that a 5 crore business will not stay 5 crore for long.
Also, there'll be a...
How long can you... I mean, you're talking to an audience, fair, right? You're selling lipstick to them.
Cool.
Okay? आपने कर लिया grab एक market share, right? You've got XYZ happening. This is your revenue. You're very happy, and you're continuing to do that. People will get tired of your maroon lipstick.
So you're saying you're losing defensibility?
Yeah, you're losing you're not doing anything.
Protection is not there.
There. You're not able to actually. This 5 crore is a guarantee, maybe till the point.
Okay.
After a point.
So it's not guaranteed for eternity.
Absolutely
People
not.
will come and lose.
Performance marketing, I can say this on record.
Right.
It's not guaranteed.
Got it.
It's like jab tak that is open, people come back to you, and which is fine. Again, it depends on your ambition, where you want to go. For me personally, anybody who's starting anything physically out there, social media, you are starting to build something, you're building a brand.
All right. Finally, we've got Shivam Dang. Shivam really understands how do you go about converting more visitors into buyers on your online store. So he's telling you how to make clear product pages. How do you go about getting the right reviews, and how do you get the perfect payments and checkout flow so that you can be profitable? Because this is where a lot of brands lose money. These are factors that you should watch out very eagerly when you're early stage, because they determine how your online scale is going to turn out eventually.
There are few things that hinder your profitability when you're starting out, right? First one is conversions, of course, right? Like you're spending a lot of money on ads, you're spending a lot of effort in getting the consumer to land on your website. But what happens is after the consumer lands, the conversion rates are as low as 1% in India, right?
Yeah.
That's an average 1 to 2%.
Yes.
Good brands can take this conversion to up to 6-7%. So think about it. If your conversions increase from 1% to 6%, you're already seeing that jump in the
3x ho gaya business.
3x हो गया business, right? Actually 6x हो गया business.
If,
1 to
okay,
6.
I was catching
1 to
2 to 6.
Yeah.
ठीक है.
ठीक है. So that is one thing. But there are multiple levers that you have to use to improve conversions, right? One of the levers, for example, can be then when people land on your website, they need to see trust markers on your website. Trust markers come in multiple forms like customer reviews, feedbacks, testimonials, product images, the way that your PDP is made, the way that your homepage is made.
PDP
These
is
are
the
the product display page.
Okay.
The page where your product is displayed
Got
and
it.
uska, the description of the product,
Cool.
the cost, etc. So those are trust markers that helps you increase conversions. The other trust markers that you can use actually is payment options, right? That what is your payment gateway that you're using, right? But also in conversions, right? Like one of the biggest factors that the young brands miss out on is RTOs too, right? So what
Sorry,
happens
what is
is
RTO?
RTO is return to origin. What essentially it means is that your order gets placed, the consumer does not take that order, receive that order. So it gets returned to the origin of the
consumer does not receive, in the sense the consumer doesn't accept it. He receives it, but he doesn't accept it.
Yeah, so there could be multiple reasons. Either the consumer was not even at home,
Okay.
right? So it gets returned. The consumer just declines to receive it.
Got it.
मैंने order ही नहीं किया, right? There are multiple reasons why a consumer would not receive the order, or could be a payment failure, like the delivery failure as well, right? These all reasons contribute to RTOs, and RTOs are the silent killers of the business. The reason being that people believe RTO cost is just the delivery to and fro cost, but it's not that. Think about the money that you spend to get that consumer on your website, right? Now you lost that consumer. Think about the inventory that was actually in transit for 10 days. You lost that inventory. There could be damage to that inventory, right? So when you add up all of these costs, that's the actual cost of RTO, right? It's not just the logistic cost.
Is it that big?
It is.
I mean, the percentage is significant for us to worry about it.
Yeah. So I'll give you an example. India is a COD heavy market, right?
Correct.
And it's not that people love to spend in cash. It's not that. The reason
they lack trust.
They lack trust. Exactly. So trust is the biggest marker why COD is so big in India.
Okay.
Right. And if you're able to build trust through the things that we talked about, your COD will automatically go down. Now, talking about the numbers, India on an average sees 60 to 70% COD in any business. And it's not that people want to do COD, that's why it's 70%. It's that people believe that postpaid is the right way to go, right? Once you've received the product, you trust that product will come on time, the product is fine and all of that. And that's when you want to pay for it.
Right.
The right way to think about it is that when you enter a Zara store or any other, retail store, they don't ask you to pay before you try out the product, right? They essentially make you pay after you've tried the product, right? But e-commerce, what happens is you have to pay before you try the product. Now in COD, majority of the COD happens because of trust, and a lot of COD happens because of impulse buys.
Got it.
And these impulse buys leads to a lot of RTOs, right? And that is where we've seen at least like in new consumer brands, 30 to 40% orders getting RTO'd. So that's a big number. So think about it. You're spending money to get a consumer to get 100% transaction. 30% of that or 40% of that is getting wasted.
Revenue.
Yeah.
I'm making 10 lakhs in revenue.
Think about it. Like if you're making 10 lakhs worth of sale, right? Your 40% products get RTO'd. Right?
Is that realistic?
That is realistic.
40% comes back?
40% comes back if you're a new business, right? If you're lacking trust, if you're heavily dependent on just meta ads and spending money on just getting consumers without figuring the right way to do it. First reason could be you're scrolling Instagram at 2 a.m., right? You see a product, you're like, I want this. You order it, you wake up next morning and you're like, I don't need it anymore. So I won't receive it, right? Because you ordered using COD.
Segment.
It is a big segment, right? Like think about yourself when you're looking at Instagram, how many cool products that you see and you're like, oh, I want this in my life. You wake up next morning, you're like, I don't need it in my life, right?
Okay.
And that's where the RTOs start happening. The second segment could be also, so RTOs is different from returns, by the way. Returns is when the consumer has seen the product, experienced the product,
Didn't like
decides to return it to you.
Okay, got it.
Right? That is the segment that you were talking about. Hey, they're disappointed with the product, or the product doesn't fulfill their expectations.
So you're saying 40% people are rejecting to receive my
The
order.
orders.
How?
Yeah.
Why is that happening?
So there are multiple, as we were talking about, right? Impulse buy is one. Second is I am not home, right? And the order was COD. Who's going to pay you money?
Got it.
I don't want to get into that situation that, hey, can you send me a QR code? I'll pay the QR code. Then you confirm with the delivery guy. You just don't want to get
I
into
don't
that
have the
hassle.
trust.
Yeah, you don't have the trust. So those are two major reasons why it's the inconvenience of receiving the order, right? It's the impulse buys. And also there's a segment which is some pin codes, some areas are bound to RTO also because of delivery person's fault or they were not able to deliver. There's some segment to that also. That's, I'll say, probably 5-7% of the segment.
Cool. So these insights have come from leaders of some of the biggest Indian brands who've built for Indian consumers of all kinds. Just take it and run with it. Get building. I'll see you in another video.